Today we're reviewing the WWE Ultimate Edition Series 24 Solo Sikoa figure. And I'm gonna be honest, Brad, I am not too excited about this figure. I don't know, man. There's something about Solo Sikoa. They just can't get the shish right. They just can't. I don't know. It's like Becky Lynch's head sculpts back in 2018. Or maybe it's 2017. Or maybe it's 2016. I can't remember. Solo Sikoa, they can't figure him out. And we're gonna get into it today to solve the mystery, see what this Ultimate Edition Solo Sikoa figure is all about. But he is a talent that probably deserves an Ultimate Edition, I'd say. Bring him up here. Let's take a look at him as I knock over the background at least once a video, and it makes me want to just knock my own life over. So let's bring her forward here. And I don't know, man. He's kind of looking like my Uncle Tim. Samoa Joe used to be the Uncle Tim reference. And, you know, those guys are kind of similar because guys like Samoa Joe, Solo Sikoa, they have, you know, these loose-fitting shorts, and then they have, like, knee pads or knee braces, and then, you know, now he has kick pads or boots, but he used to rock, the spats or the ankle wraps or ankle tape. So I don't know, but you get some cool accessories. We're going to, of course, dive into it and everything like that, but standard mainline WWE Ultimate Edition, you have a picture of Solo on the side here. On the back, you get an image of Solo there. You got a little bio football read down here at the bottom. Got a little Samoan Spike action read down here. Little action shot of a hand-painted prototype. They always put a hand-painted prototype right here. Every single time. You can always tell in the face, man. Every single time. Solo Sikoa on the side, and that is pretty much our packaging for this Solo Sikoa. I mean, you know, he has a weird history because when he came out in Elite Series 104, remember they made him so skinny. It was incredibly skinny. It was such a crazy release. Everybody was dumbfounded. Like, how could this possibly be Solo Sikoa? He had the Daniel Bryan torso. I don't even think I have that figure anymore because I threw it the hell out in the yard. And then Elite 107 rolled around. Much better figure. They corrected their wrongdoings. Still not perfect, but, you know, a step closer. Then, of course, they did do the top picks where they repainted that Elite 107. And now we have this Ultimate. So will this be your definitive version of Solo Sikoa? Will we have to fix this guy later on? We'll find out together. But if you guys want to grab this figure, go over to Ringside Collectibles. Use promo code MDTOYS to save yourselves 10%. I imagine this guy's on back order, but you never know. Go over there, grab more than Ultimates. You can grab lots of things, sales, accessories, all kinds of shish over at Ringside Collectibles. Always shout out to Ringside Collectibles, but make sure you use your code MDTOYS to save yourselves 10%. But now that that's out of the way, let's crack Solo Sikoa out of the packaging and find out what this Ultimate Edition figure is all about. So here we have Solo Sikoa out of the packaging, man, and I don't know. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts about this figure, man. Lots of thoughts, lots of different things I'm mulling over with this figure, honestly. I don't know. I really don't know, but I guess we can address it as we progress through the figure, as we always do. But I don't have high hopes. I don't have high hopes for this figure, but we can break it all down, and you can let me know what you think down at the comments section below at the end or throughout the video. But I don't know, man. We're going to progress through it. We're going to get through it. But how we always start is we always start off with the accessories of the figure, and then we'll run it back and take a closer look at Solo Sikoa himself. Alright, so for accessories with your Solo Sikoa, almost meets the criteria for an Ultimate, or, you know, the baseline. We call it the baseline. People, you know, always say, oh, he didn't have a championship or whatever. When I say the baseline, I'm just saying that usually with a Ultimate Edition figure, it's 3 interchangeable heads, cloth goods, or interchangeable arms, and then a championship belt. That's usually the criteria. It's not always that way. It's just the baseline. That's kind of the expectation, if you will, for an Ultimate, or that's just what comes to my brain when I think of an Ultimate Edition. Like Gobbledygooker. Did he have a damn WWE title, Brad? No. He probably should have, though, shouldn't he? Yep, I remember back that, yep, Money in the Bank 2011. Yep, defeated Cassius Ohno in a 36-minute 5-star classic. Well, let's get into these head sculpts. So getting into the head sculpts right here, man, starting out first with the stern face, this is pretty much damn perfect. I mean, I really don't have any quarrels with this one, Brad. I mean, this is pretty damn elite. I think this looks pretty spot on. I think they did a really good job. May have a little bit of paint bleeding right there at the top. Not a big deal. But likeness is uncanny. Fantastic head sculpt. And I think they made these head sculpts bigger than his last few figures. So this is the Elite 107. You can see there the head sculpt's a little bigger right there. And it has way back, like, I don't know. It looks very, very good. Then we're taking a look at the kind of, you know, he's getting a little bit more pissed off head sculpt, which is probably my least favorite of the 3. But I think it still works. It's kind of like, okay, you're starting to piss me off now. Or kind of like his resting face, if you will. You know, he's got RBF. Resting Bish face. And, you know, it looks pretty good, though. I like this one as well. Good hair sculpt and colors and everything. I think they did a really good job on this Solo Sikoa head sculpt. It's funny how he gets 3 original brand new head sculpts. Funny how that works. And then my personal favorite is the screaming or yelling expression here, or the literally spiking your head off your shoulders and costing you your championship matchup at WrestleMania in front of 100,000 people. This is the face you make when you spike somebody in the neck. This is a fantastic fantastic head sculpt. I love how they have the little dip in the eyebrow right there. Very good head sculpt. This one's definitely my favorite. I think this looks so good. They did a great job on this one, and this is most certainly, from the lot, this is my favorite. But yeah, this guy gets 3 original brand new sculpted head sculpts, but Finn Balor has to use one from Elite 70, one from Elite 82, and then they give him a brand new one that still ain't right. Now, getting into the hoodie cloth goods here, this is a very nice hoodie. I think this is very nice. The only thing I don't like is the material. I wish it was in just their normal t-shirt material, but they probably wanted it to be a little bit thicker, which I understand, but it's got that, God, what, it's kind of like Jake the Snake's bags, the way they make those, you know, kind of that like soft felty material. That's kind of what it feels like. But you do have Solo going down in the, you know, that tribal print right there, which is pretty cool. And then on the back, you do get the thumbs up Orange Cassidy style. I know it's the Samoan Spike, but you know what I mean there. But it does have the hood on there. It is Velcro in the front as well, so you can open it up, put it on there very easy. At first, I thought it didn't have Velcro, and I was like, God, this is going to be a pain to get on. But having it into a, you know, kind of a zip-up hoodie, if you will, is very genius, so you can just plop that on there. But this is a very nice accessory. Never going to complain about good cloth goods like this. And then we do have one more, you know, apparel or wearing style accessory. That is going to be the black towel, which I'm pretty sure we've seen this before. I don't think this is new or anything, but if you wanted to put this onto the figure, you can pop this onto the head sculpt here. Just kind of see what this looks like. I don't really care for these molded towels. Like, I guess it works, but hear me out, okay? Mattel, hear me out. If you're going to do away with this rubber stuff, cloth goods, wired towel. A wired black cloth towel. That's the answer. That's the answer. You can have this cloth, like a square cloth with wire in it, and then you can have the head sculpt here, plop that towel in there, and you can form fit it around his head with the wires, and it'll look natural like it's sitting on there like this. This is too bulky, and I think at a time and place it worked at one point. I think we're beyond this now. I think it's time to retire this. And then for interchangeable hands, we do have some newness going in. So on the left side, he just has this tattoo there with the mic holding hand, but on the right side, you will notice they did sculpted tape onto the hand. This is very game-changing because you guys know this is something that people have been requesting. CM Punk, Solo Sikoa, different guys like this. Having sculpted hand tape is a big deal. So the thumb is sculpted up right here, and you can actually see the wrinkles in it, and it looks really good. The only complaint about it is when you get to the arm on the figure here, it's still flat paint. So when you plug that in, you're going to get that extension off, you see. And it doesn't look bad. It's not like egregious, but it would be cool to have that sculpted too, so then that's sculpted, you know what I mean? And it wouldn't be like it disappears or it gets skinnier and flatter. It would just, you know, seamlessly move into the tape. And I'm sure that's something they'll work towards. And, you know, you got to start somewhere, so this is probably just the beginning stage. But I bet we'll get sculpted wrist tape soon enough. And I don't know, in 2025 at Comic-Con, I feel like they're going to reveal some big stuff to this line, man. Remember it here. Remember it here. Either WrestleMania or San Diego Comic-Con, there's things brewing, man. This is probably about to be the best WWE Mattel action figure year ever. Look at this, man. Even the pointer hand has the sculpted hand tape. That is very, very good. That just creates such a level of detail, man. That looks so good how they've done this. You can see the sculpt actually on there. And the white peg. Gotta mention the white peg. Flawless execution, man. Shout out to Mattel for that. And last but not least, we have my favorite, which is going to be the Samoan Spike hand. Now, what in the hell? One thumb is, I feel like, longer than the other. However, I will say, if you tape your thumb up like a Samoan Spike, it's going to be a lot of tape, man. It's going to be a lot of tape, and it's going to thicken up, and it will be a little longer. So I'm not gonna harp on that too much, but it is definitely longer there. But that's probably pretty accurate. I mean, this one kind of looks like Stumpy though. I don't know. Did he get a damn? I don't know. Like something ain't right there. This one's kind of big. I don't know. Now I'm all lost. Both of them look funny as hell to me now. Starting out at the top of the head sculpt with our Solo Sikoa. We touched on the head sculpt. I think the head sculpt's really strong. I think it's a good likeness. I think all that stuff looks pretty good there. But I think everywhere else I just see a bunch of issues or just things that bother me personally. And we can get into that as we break it down. Let's move it down, man. Getting it down into the torso here. You know, I don't hate this torso. I think that it could work a little bit. It does seem still a little small, you know, and at least it is kind of pudgy. You know, it's not Daniel Bryan skinny or anything like that. But I feel like first of all, he doesn't have the waist wrap. They put the Solo. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is the waistband, and I don't think, like, even here, okay, look, if you look at the prototype, Prototype's got shorts and then that waist wrap over it. This is painted on Solo with no waist wrap deal. So look, here's it does not have a waist wrap. Maybe mine's wrong, but it doesn't have the waist wrap little deal belt. That should absolutely come on the figure. That would help a lot. Maybe, is that how every single person's is, or did mine get lost? I don't know, but they just painted over the top of the shorts, which is incorrect. It should be like this back here, where you have the waist wrap with Solo over it. So maybe that, I think that's throwing me off, because seeing the belly button and seeing it that close, like, look how short this is. Look how, like, I don't know, why is his I don't know, something is weird about how close his belly button is to his tits coming under here. But anyway, you do have all the tattoos in the deco going on, which is cool and everything, and I don't hate the torso. I think it's like, I don't think, you know, like the arms are skinny, obviously, right? So the arms are skinny. The shoulders are pretty skinny too for how big Solo is, man, you know? So I know some of these things are too small, but I think it's, the torso would probably look better if other parts of his proportions were better and like more match this torso. It would kind of like lift it up and make it better, you know what I'm saying? It would be like it could be kind of like Steve Nash, right? He'd be like elevating his teammates in a way. So that's kind of how that would work out. Yeah, man, I don't know. I also found that this shoulder is very loose, man. Like very loose, very annoying. I don't really know what I'm going to do about that. But the good part is they're too skinny. So I'd like to switch them anyway. It's just, geez, man, that is very annoying. This is a very loose shoulder over here. It doesn't necessarily pop out too easy, but it's very loose. Also, may have some like paint missing right here, or maybe that's accurate. I don't know entirely. I'm not completely engulfed in the Solo Sikoa lore of his tattoos, but spinning it around to the back, you know, all that looks pretty good with the butterfly joints. I like the butterfly joints going down like with the tattoos in there. I think that's pretty nice. Again, about the wrist tape, I really wish that was sculpted. You see how just odd it is, how it goes from tape to nothing? I think that's odd. And again, I think they are going to fix this in the future. It just stinks that on Solo, they couldn't just start that. You know what I mean? Like, this would be the perfect time to implement that. But again, these arms are so skinny for Solo Sikoa, man. I mean, he's got beefy arms. He's a big Samoan dude. He's Samoa spiking the hell out of you. You think you're Samoa spiking the hell out of people with these arms? You can try. Your thumb's going to snap in half. You don't have the force. But then going down again, he doesn't have the waist wrap here or the belt. There's just a lot of things about this figure that are left to be desired, man. Like, in my personal opinion, these things bother me about this figure. I do like the attire. I think these, you know, these shorts are very awesome. I like the Sikoa. I like the graphics and everything. This is a nice attire. I think they chose a really good attire for Solo in this Ultimate Edition. And the black and red and the colors look really good. But then, like, when you get into this formula down here, I think, like, just having like this, you know, this big torso, right? I know his arms are skinny, but when you have this like chubbier torso, which is fine for Solo, I think he should have a chubbier torso. He should have a more meaty man torso, right? But then you get these like baggy shorts, which look fine with this torso. But then you have this ultra tiny thigh coming out of these shorts when your torso looks like this. It just doesn't add up, man. A grown Samoan man like Solo Sikoa, like this, a man of his stature, you think his thighs are this skinny? Brother, there ain't no way in hell. It's not anatomically correct. It's not correct. And then you have the knees, and then the calves, and he's got Johnny Gargano syndrome. It's just a very, very bad formula. It does not work. It doesn't look good. It needs to be drawn up. They need to go back to the drawing board, man. Now, I do like this new foot sculpt right here that's got the toe joint. You know, this is the brand new feet sculpt, how you can like rotate the full foot here. I actually like this sculpt here for the feet. I think that's nice. He needs a full rework, man, from top to bottom. So getting into the articulation with this Solo Sikoa figure, you know, standing back here, I will say this is a nice touch, and I think that this is a smart play by Mattel. When you make the thighs, the knees, the under, you know, the lower legs here, and the kick pads all black, it really blends it in so you can't really see as bad, which is nice because it hides it and it blends it in better. It doesn't in like studio photography, but when you're looking at it like this, it doesn't look as bad. And I'll show you in the comparison shot here in a minute what it actually looked like pretty much. They just changed colors around so it blends it and hides it better. But everything else with the articulation, I mean, I'd like to see a double ball peg here or a ball small hint for the head sculpt so that they can look up better. And certain characters will be able to look down better too. And you think, oh, it's just a head tilt. Yeah, but when you're trying to do like a DDT or a suplex or, you know, a crossroads or something, being able to lean somebody's head all the way back or doing a tombstone or a swanton or something like that, man, being able to like hold a position like the head sculpt is very, very important. And I think that would help the figures a ton. You know, it's an ultimate, so the diaphragm move, it's not great, but you do get like a pivoting around there and a cut. You get a waist swivel. You do get, you know, the standard arm articulation here. Goes full 360. You get the bicep swivel. It's all the same articulation you come to know there. He does have drop down hips, and he can kick forward. And one thing I can say about, you know, the kick forward and the leg out and stuff like that. God, it's always afraid I'm going to snap it. But I'm actually impressed with how good he feels like posing around. He feels a lot better than his other elites. I can tell you that. He feels way better than the Elite 107. He feels a lot better than the Elite 104. So he's not stiff by any stretch. So that's definitely a positive sign. If you were, you know, if you wanted a solo that can pose around better, this is definitely the one to get. And I'd say that this is definitely the best solo they've made, even if they still have a ways to go. This is probably still the best solo that they have to offer you right now in current day 2025. Now, does that mean you have to purchase this one? I don't know. You can either wait for, you know, the right one, or you could buy this one, I guess. But just look how it goes from, like, it's just so much stuff going on right here. Like, look at the gappage and everything. How it goes from shorts to thigh to knee to Johnny Gargano syndrome to these little kick pads. It's just a weird, weird figure. Not to mention he doesn't have that waist strap, which throws it off completely. Or it throws it off for me. I just think that his torso is incredibly short. And you could hide the illusion if you had that belt on there, you know? But he does have the double jointed knee, which isn't near as stiff as other ones I've seen. Johnny Gargano syndrome, shin cut, and then, you know, he's got a wonderful ankle rocker. Can go down and up, and he has toe pivot, which is nice. So for your Solo Sikoa figure comparisons, here we have the Elite 107 up next to the Ultimate Edition. And really, like, I think the torso choices for these aren't necessarily the problem. I think it's your small arms that really add to it. I think the arms, giving us beefier arms for guys like Solo Sikoa, Kevin Owens, need that implemented immediately. Helps with the proportions of the figures, man. I promise you, if you weigh what Solo Sikoa weighs, your arms aren't the same size as Jey Uso, man. I don't think Jey Uso and Solo Sikoa have the same arm size. But another thing, again, the waist strap is missing there. I think that would help right there. But see, these figures essentially have the exact same legs and lowers. You just switch out this bare feet thing here for kickpad feet. But see, since they made it black, it blends in a hell of a lot more. See, this one over here looks a lot more awkward because of the colors. You can see everything, right? You can see the like tights to the skinny, weird legs to the feet and everything. And it kind of throws off the whole proportions of it. But maybe I'm crazy. I'm just telling you what I think personally. You can let me know what you think of all these things down below. I will say I didn't recognize how like hidden it is when it's just kind of standing back. But then when you actually take a look at it, like if I'm looking at it through the camera, it doesn't look as bad because it's like shadowing and stuff like that. But then when I look at it in real life, yeah, it's obvious. It's still an issue, at least to me it is. And I don't have the Elite 104. I couldn't find it. Again, it may be buried in the yard somewhere, so I apologize for that. Let's get into some other figure comparisons. So here we have my custom MLW Jacob Fatu custom fix-up figure next to the new Ultimate, and these look really good up next to each other, I'd say. Really looking forward to what Mattel can do with Jacob Fatu. I still don't think it'll be as good as this figure. I could be wrong, of course, but that figure right here, this is such a good figure. It really is. I love that Jacob Fatu, so I'm intrigued to see how Mattel can compete with it. That's going to be a really fun video when we finally get to compare those two. But I think these two fit pretty well together, I'd say. And then for one last comparison, we do have the Elite 114 Chase Blue Jey Uso up next to the Ultimate Edition Solo Sikoa. And then he's also up there next to the Raw on Netflix debut Kobe 9 unfinished custom fix-up Roman Reigns Ultimate. And then we do have the Elite 114 Jimmy Uso up there as well. Just a nice little deal there with all those characters. But this is what I'm talking about, man. Like, let's move Roman right quick. Should all three of these guys have the same shoulders and arm size? And that's the question. I don't think they should. I don't think they should at all. But who the hell am I, Brad? Lights too bright for me. But I think that pretty much wraps up our Solo Sikoa Ultimate Edition action figure review, man. So many thoughts, man. So many thoughts about this figure. You know, running it down, you know, we always start at the top of the head sculpt, then I guess I'll give you just my rundown of all my thoughts here. So, head sculpts, I think the head sculpts, for the most part, pretty good. I really like the screaming expression. I think that's pretty nice. I think the accessories that he comes with is fine. You know, he hasn't really won a championship or done anything, you know, like that, so he doesn't really need that, you know. But the hoodie is nice. I don't like that towel texture. I wish it wasn't that towel-style texture, but it's fine. It fits well. I like the hood and everything like that. I think that fits Solo. I think it's a cool accessory there. But I think my main gripe with it is just the formula, man. Solo Sikoa is a guy they cannot figure out the formula on. Between the torso proportions, to the shoulders, to the arms, to the shorts, to the knee braces / knee pads, to the length of his legs, to the skinny Johnny Gargano syndrome kick pads. All of it is just very odd. And when you look at all of his figures, it just looks so long and lanky. Like nothing looks proportionate. It does not look right. Like you just look at the guy, something is wrong. His arms are still too skinny. I think his shoulders are a little wrong too. I think they could switch out his shoulders for maybe some striated ones, even if you didn't want to do the striated ones, maybe some bigger ones at some point. But not having the little waist wrap too kind of bothers me because his belly button looks so close to the bottom of his chin. Like the torso, am I wrong on that? I just feel like his torso is incredibly short. It looks very weird. And I don't know, I think proportions and formula is the thing that holds this figure back. I just think it looks odd to me. This has always been a thing with Solo. It's like his torso's massive and his thighs are tiny inside these shorts. It just doesn't make sense, man. I honestly think the best thing to do would be to retool a brand new lower leg and then give him cloth shorts. I don't know, man. I don't think sculpted shorts is the way to go. If you gave him a specific Solo Sikoa torso, gave him a bigger shoulders, gave him bigger arms, gave him some cloth good shorts that, you know, some beefy thighs can, you know, emerge out of right there, and then you could have like some kick pad lower legs. I think with like sculpted knee pads, I think would be pretty cool. I think that's probably the way that they should go. And even if you didn't do that, I think sculpted knee pads attached to some sculpted shorts, attached to some, you know, some non-Johnny Gargano syndrome kick pads is the way to go. I just don't like it for that reason. I will say, though, some highlights of the figure that I do like. I like the head sculpts. I think those are really good. I like the inclusion of the sculpted hand tape on the hands. I do think that's a nice feature. The only thing I don't like about that is that the wrist tape is still painted on, so it looks a bit odd, right? Because you have like this thickness on the hand, but then when you go to the wrist, it's just flat paint. So you know what I'm saying? Like if it was continuous and it was all sculpted, it would look really cool. But because it's not continued onto the wrist, I think that's kind of a miss. Kind of rhymed, unintentional. I do like that the hand tape is sculpted on, though. It's well done. I like the hoodie. I like how posable he is. I like how he feels in hand. He feels good in hand and all those things. I wish they could get this guy right. I think he's still a ways away from being that definitive Solo Sikoa. Now, but I say get this one over the Elites. Yeah, probably. I mean, I guess so. Or just wait out for the perfect Solo. Because the hoodie's cool, the head sculpts are cool, and it's a good enough update, I guess, for now. You know, because his other figures look terrible too, from the knee, from, you know, the thighs down, and they also have really skinny arms. So I don't know, man. There's just a lot to be desired with these Solo Sikoa figures, man, and it bums me out because, you know, he's a prominent feature on WWE television. He's been involved in some of the biggest storylines in the last 3 years, and they can't get his figures right. But anyways, that's pretty much all my thoughts on this Solo figure. But if you guys want to grab this figure, you know, you like what you see, you disagree with me, or you want to take a chance on it, head over to Ringside Collectibles, use promo code MDTOYS to save yourselves 10%. I greatly appreciate it. And I do want to give a huge shout out to our Patreon members, man. I appreciate you fellas so very much, man. Your support means everything to me, and I greatly appreciate all of you so very much, man. But that's pretty much going to wrap up WWE Ultimate Edition Series 24. You know, I'd like to rank the mainline Ultimates. I think that would be a really fun video. Like, not including Coliseum Collection or Ringside exclusives, like the mainline ones, like Series 1, Series 2, all the way up to 24. I think 25 would be a great starting place because that gives us 25 total spots instead of 24. And I know most of the waves have 2. One wave has 1 figure in it, and then you have these last few waves that have 3 figures in it. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think some of these Ultimates just aren't hitting the mark for me. But nonetheless, man, I'm getting out. I hope you guys did enjoy. Leave me your thoughts on this figure down in the comment section below. I'll see you guys next time. Have a blessed one, and I'll catch you guys later.